Jero pulled a shotgun on us once at the MYL meeting.
Jero did?
Yeah, I was trying to, yeah.
What's NYL?
That was before
the whole ICR, AWR link up, right?
Yeah.
That was like that. There was
pre that.
Remember that whole thing? Remember there was like this weird thing where like we just like the two crews just like connected.
Yeah.
And then we're like, now we're like one crew. It was like, what the fuck was that? That was so
I got some gnarly stories.
I know you do, dude.
And I don't know if we should get into some of them because it might implicate some people into some bad things.
We can't snitch on anybody. And I'm almost like, can I talk freely about shit?
What can't we talk freely? That's why we're a little like guarded.
No, we can talk about anything. We just can't say names. We can't paint any crimes on anybody.
But we don't want to paint such a bad picture.
It's not a bad picture.
But we did.
It wasn't a bad picture, but it was. But listen, it was part of the deal. There was a crime. There was a criminal element. Not as bad as some. We weren't driving around shooting people. But like there was an element.
Well, who are you? Depends on who you're talking to.
Okay, some people were.
I mean,
you and I were not.
No, but I saw some things. And
you saw. I know you saw a lot of shit. You saw a lot. There's so many things. Listen. This is perfect.
I had a drive-by at my house in Thousand Oaks that made the front page news, and that was ICR meets old crew in 805. And I threw a party, and Casey and everyone else found out about it and drove to 805 with ICR, and I was banging some girl in my mom's closet, and I was too afraid of what was going on in the living room in 805. And then all of a sudden I heard all this ruckus, and then Casey and ICR were beating the fuck out of my old friends.
Wait, it was guys from your old crew had beef with ICR.
They didn't even know what ICR was. They were 805. This was like the one link with Bless and I.
Wait,
and our weird little crew.
That crew was fuck. What was that?
It was called JR23 or some weird shit. I don't even remember what it stood for.
And why were they beefing with ICR?
They didn't. They just showed up to my house.
Who, the crew did?
Well, the crew and Casey and them showed up to the house,
right? Finding
out that my parents were out of town.
So, they're like, hey, Shaver's parents are out of town.
Yeah. This fool is, hey, go to, we're going at 805 tonight. Let's go, everyone go.
Right.
So all these maniacs showed up to my house that I looked up to, so I couldn't say no to any of these guys.
But you're already in the crew at this point, right?
Not yet.
Oh, this is before. Really?
Yeah, cool. It was like right then. It was like right when I had to make a decision.
But Casey was already hanging out with them before you got in?
Yeah. Because he knew ICR. He knew.
Oh, okay. Weird. I guess my timeline might be fucked up too. One of us has got a foggy timeline, and I could be just.
Well, we both have reasons why we have foggy timelines.
True.
So I heard all this ruckus.
Yeah.
And they were just beating the fuck out of these kids.
Yeah.
So I tried to separate it, and then they ran off, and then an hour later came back, and then jumped out their car and just started shooting at my house. And shot Keen in the foot.
Oh, that's right. I remember
that. And then Keen got shot in the foot, but he had steel toes on, so it bounced off his foot and like broke his toe. So of course, this is 805. So every single sheriff and fucking cop was at my house within 2 minutes, including the news. So they had to sort all this shit out, and then.
But Keen wasn't from ICR at that point, right?
Yeah, he was like, I guess, I don't know, UFK, ICR.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
we need a fact checker. We need a graffiti fact checker to come on here. And
this was like,
we're gonna get it. We're gonna get in fucking trouble with this shit.
Oh my god. So my parents were out of town.
Yeah.
My house was destroyed. There was a shooting at my house.
That's crazy.
My old friends now wanted to kill me.
Right. Because they thought you set them up, of course.
Something like that.
It definitely looks that way.
And then ICR, someone from ICR got shot in the foot. So my parents come home from vacation. I clean the house.
They're like, we're in the fucking suburbs. We're trying not to see this shit.
So I didn't know what to do. So all I could do was just leave the front page news just on the table for my parents.
That's how you broke it to them.
I didn't have any other way. So I couldn't hide it.
Oh my God, dude.
So I just left the newspaper on the living room table. And just went into my bedroom and closed the door. We're trying too hard and we're a little bored.
And it's like you don't know the rules. So they're making shit up as they go along, like about what street life is. And they're just going crazy. And they're like, dude, they just cut this kid's toe off. Nobody does that. You know, like, just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, they're on some other shit, you know? Like, don't grow up in the suburbs. If you're in the suburbs, move into the shittiest part of the city as soon as you can to see the reality of it.
Yeah.
Don't make your own. Don't make it up as you go along, everybody. Okay.
Oh, fuck. So I got in trouble.
Yeah, I can imagine. And then what?
So I just went with it.
Fuck.
What did they do? Well, then the guys were like, we're going to kill you.
Yeah.
So I just said sorry as much as I could.
So this is okay. I understand what this is.
And then somebody came to my house. A group of guys a week later came to my house during a dinner and kicked in my front door. So my mom's answering the door and they kicked down the whole front door like a fucking SWAT team. And it was some other dudes. I don't even know who the fuck they were.
You just brought so much beef.
And I just came home and I was like, what happened? And they're like, all these crazy guys showed up and kicked in your door. And I was like,
they're like,
what I don't even know who they are.
And you're like, Mom, I'm just getting started. I'm only 16.
Oh, I just was getting started.
For the Obama administration, it was sponsored by the president's grassroots organization. There you can see it's based on the flag. And because it was for Obama and because it was based on the flag, conservative groups were outraged by the nature of this art. Now, listen to Saber's reasons for using the flag and then painting the graffiti on the flag to express his art. And, joining us now from Burbank, California, graffiti artist Saber to tell us more about his message, not to mention your own battles with the healthcare system. I look at that and it's as if you were using the American flag, I guess, as a metaphor for America. That what you were saying, this is the healthcare debate happening in America over this painting, or at least that was my interpretation of it. What was it that's the most offensive to those who were offended by it?
I think the most offensive thing was actually using the term graffiti and using a medium base spray paint. But in reality, it really was just a piece of artwork created to express the way I was feeling about some of the things I'm going through. And I want to say, clear, I would not ever desecrate the flag. I would not ever burn a flag. I would never write on a flag. So to be accused of such things was really offensive to myself because I feel I am an American and it's strong for me to stand up. And I do believe in the First Amendment. So for all the people that went a little crazy over this, obviously you need to, get your head right because it wasn't about the flag. It wasn't about anything but my own experience, through this situation. And, having epilepsy
and tell us about what
with no
experience,
healthcare.
What experience are you referencing? What personal experience are you referencing when you say that?
Well, I guess my experience would be, I'm somebody who is a perfect example of somebody who's been spit and grinded out in the gears of this system. This system is not functioning in a way that can deal with the major portion of the population. If you don't have health care, then, health insurance, you're basically done. And, my analogy is, basically, not even an analogy. It'll take you to a county hospital, Los Angeles at 2 a.m., and you're going to see some things that you're not going to be happy about. And it's real easy for those who have health insurance and have a great health care to be offended by somebody like me because they feel that their opportunity is being chiseled at. But the reality is there's sick people out there and we need health care now, and it doesn't matter what bill it is, it doesn't matter how important these little aspects are. It's just about breaking the foundation and allowing this thing to move forward because it's going to take time to make this work. So everybody trying to get this hit them out of the park kind of like bill, that's not going to appease anybody. Really, you have to allow this to grow and allow this to become something that can form and change into something more efficient for everybody. But if you don't allow it to grow, you can't go anywhere. And we're, decades in the making at this point. And there's people like me who are great artists who are willing to express themselves. So, there's a lot more people out there just like me.
Yeah.
You could tell a lot by a city by just reading the walls. I find beauty in that place, that just urban dystopia that's completely kind of crumbled. At the same time, there's movement, there's story, there's presence, and it's all left behind with the structures that are built, with the names that are written, with the buff that's layered. I mean, just one wall you paint, that wall could have been buffed in the last 20 years 10,000 times if you think about it. And you're like, oh shit.
As far as the West Coast is concerned, he's produced probably 4 or 5 of the 10 most monumental pieces of works of graffiti. Things like the bridge on the 5 for GK, that MSK billboard right there by the Capitol Records building in Hollywood. Those things are just colossal.
For the 90s, it was the war on drugs, so I mean everything was really intense and everything was criminalized. Everywhere you went, there was a sense of you're doing something wrong and there's danger.
The police approach black men as criminals first.
The CIA unintentionally pumped crack cocaine into Los Angeles.
This earthquake this morning in Southern California has become deadly.
I have never ever seen anything like this.
And violence were widespread.
The liquor store has been looted.
I have committed these troops to help restore order.
93, 94, 95, it was like a little golden era of LA because it was so insane. And you had all these key players finally starting to climb. You're getting Heavens, you're getting razor wire starting to put up, you're getting the first cameras put up.
Looking for the hardest place for the city to reach so they're not able to book your name.
Your biggest enemy at night is the police helicopter. And when you look at the police helicopter at night and you look at it in long exposure, it kind of turns into this UFO-esque type thing. It really is a close encounter because you really could get abducted. That dude's out there to abduct your ass. That's why he's fucking circling. So at the end of the day, they are close encounters. And they're close encounters in 2021. We live in LA. Blade Runner's already happened. We have this like battle between the old way of things and this new technology. And as graffiti, we're right in the middle of it because we're the storytellers. We have the aesthetic buried into the city and we're evolving with it as well. At the end of the day, the city represents that futuristic organism that's constantly moving, changing, evolving. You have this chaos everywhere. It kind of has that dark vibe, but at the same time, there's something beautiful and mysterious.
That there is 5% who are the poor righteous teachers who don't believe the teaching of lies of the 10%, but this 5% are all wise and know who the true and living God is, and they teach that the true and living God is the Son of Man, the supreme being, the black man of Asia. They are also known as civilized people, Muslims and Muslim sons. Here is a small percentage of people who know God. And when they know God, they have a duty. And that duty is to teach what you know to those who do not know.
Fly on a busy local street and a popular tattoo artist is shot dead. Tonight, friends and family mourn the man they say was always the most entertaining person in the room. Eyewitness News reporter Jory Rand is live in North Hollywood with the latest on the investigation. Jory?
Well, they're just now getting ready to reopen this crime scene on Laurel Canyon Boulevard near the intersection of Victory Boulevard, which this afternoon erupted in gunfire. Now, police have not identified the victim of this shooting, but friends here tonight confirm it, and social media lit up with condolences with the news that Triggs was dead. The artist known as Triggs had an appearance that can be jarring. Tattoos covered nearly his entire face and head, but his friends say you shouldn't let his appearance fool you. Did you know?
You know what? Triggs is a real nice guy. It's that simple. He's a very nice guy. His father loves his family.
A little before 6 tonight, police say Triggs got into some kind of altercation with another man.
During the altercation, we have a victim that sustained a gunshot wound to the torso.
Came to the bank. To Wells Fargo, and I heard the gunshots.
How many gunshots did you hear?
About four shots.
The unnamed suspect took off, leaving Triggs to die on this North Hollywood sidewalk, just feet from a tattoo parlor where friends and family gathered tonight. Triggs was a famed tattoo artist, but he was also an actor and a model, his unique appearance fitting right in music videos. He was also a longtime graffiti artist who spent time in prison for painting his art all over the Southland. But he was also a part of an exclusive worldwide group of artists known as Seventh Letter. Willie T was a fellow member.
To see this and hear this, it's not cool. You know what I mean? Right now, my job is to be the photographer of the crew, so I'm here to document what happened. But at the end of the day, when I go home, it's a different story.
And there are a lot of people struggling with this news here tonight. Triggs had several children who are now left without a father. And police at this point still have not named a suspect. We're live in North Hollywood tonight. George.
So amazing about Triggs getting shot was he had written me just a couple days earlier the most cryptic message, and I didn't know what to make of it. He wrote me, "Know your enemy." I thought, well, that's strange. Now, he looks like a thug, and he used to back in the day be with gangs, and he wasn't even really. Well, once you're in ICR, which is much more than just a graffiti crew, you're kind of always a member. What's really interesting about this case, which is shocking, is maybe you notice it said that they caught the murderer. Now, the murderer lives in Sylmar. Now, that's not that far away from where he was shot. Triggs worked at 5150 Tattoo Shop, which is weird, because my address in LA was 5150 Donna Avenue. Isn't that weird? Anyways, they get this guy in Sylmar, and he's a 30-year-old Latino. But they keep saying his name's Robert Falcon. Okay, Robert Andrew Falcon. Robert Andrew Falcon. And I'm thinking, that's really weird. Why would a guy, because I know the details of what happened, and I've actually had shit like that happen, where the guy was there and just leaving, and just, there wasn't really a fight. The fight broke out because as the guy was leaving, he turns to Triggs and just says, "Where do I know you from?" That's all he said. No, and like I said, it wasn't. We're not some Mexican gang, dude. It takes a lot to get into a fight, so no one understood how this could happen. In fact, there's another report that says something fascinating. A friend is asked, "Do you know who do you think possibly could have shot him?" And the only comment that anyone from the crew said was, "I think fear shot him." Now, Robert Falcon, Andrew Falcon, is not a Latino name.
Think
And
local.
clearly Trigger
Think
looks
news
like
break.
he could have been in a gang.
Install
he was
now.
considered to be. He knew a lot of people. That's right, he did. The fact of the matter is, even though Triggs was not gangbanging, he had 5 kids, he got out of that life. And to go there, you had to go there on purpose. Because Sylmar and where this guy lived, it's not like on the way home or down the street. So it's just weird that the guy would live like 17 miles away. And that there'd be a fist fight, but once they get outside, he pulls out a fucking gun and then executes him, shoots him. Well, I found out why later on. Even though they arrested him, and he's a murderer, and he's doing 16 years, we were shocked to discover the guy is an MS-13 member that shot Triggs. We don't have beef with MS-13. No, you didn't. They won't release his name. He's an MS-13, but they will not release what his real identity and name is. Why?
You have places to go
Because he'll get killed.
and people to see. So get going with
He's
1,
an
2,
MS-13 member,
3, 4,
and they
$5
won't
off.
identify him. Because the LAPD knows what will happen
Only with Lyft
if they gave
for a
everybody
limited
his
time.
real name. So there's no Robert Falcon in Sylmar. They killed him. We don't know who or why. Well, we do know who and why. I don't know if the killer does.